Siachen. In Balti, it means the abode of wild roses. It is a strange name for a place where not even a blade of grass grows. Here the winds howl at over 50 kilometers per hour and the cold freezes the blood in a man's veins. This is the highest and the coldest battleground in the world. But what are our soldiers doing there? What is this conflict all about? The seeds of the conflict go back to 1947 with the drawing of the ceasefire line between India and Pakistan. That marked the boundary only up to a point called NJ 9842 and thence north towards the glaciers. Pakistan took this as reading moving northeast towards the Karakoram Pass. India interpreted it as moving due north. For decades, no one gave much thought to this glacial wasteland. Then, in the late 70s and the early 80s, Pakistan started sending mountaineering expeditions into the glacier. They were making plans to usurp this strategically vital piece of land, a land which would allow them to link up with China. These plans could well have succeeded had it not been detected just in the nick of time. It was Colonel Narendra Kumar, Bull Kumar as he was known, who first discovered that something was afoot. During his expedition into Siachen, this seasoned mountaineer found traces of Pakistani presence. Tins, empty cartons, fragments of tentage, abandoned gear. His own expedition was also buzzed by a Pakistani helicopter. He understood the implications. Pakistan was laying stake over Siachen. Why? They were even issuing maps showing it as their own. Bull's findings set alarm bells ringing in army headquarters. Indian intelligence had reported the raising of Borzil force, composed of commandos and mountain troops, which was assembling opposite Siachen. Then came another bit of interesting news. While scouting for high altitude equipment in London, the Indians discovered that every piece of gear, over 1200 sets, had been procured by the Pakistanis. They were definitely not planning a picnic with it. The Pakistanis were up to something, and the Indians decided to preempt them by occupying Siachen first. Or rather, by occupying the heights on the Saltoro Ridge, which provided them entry into the glacier. 13th April 1984 was the date set for the launch. 13th, unlucky for some, but it was also Baisakhi Day, a day when the Pakistanis would not expect any activity. Preparations for Operation Meghdoot began. Tracks and communication lines were laid and a base camp established near Partapur. By March, hardened soldiers of Fort Kumaon, 19 Kumaon, Ladakh Scouts and ski troops composed of volunteers from all units assembled at the base camp. Their key objectives would be the passes on the Saltoro Ridge, Bilafondla, Siala, Gyongla, Indira Col and the major heights on the ridgeline. Yet, there was a major hiccup. The Arctic gear without which one could not survive at those heights did not arrive. It reached only on the evening of 12th April, literally hours before the launch. But the stage was ready now. At 5:30 in the morning of 13th April, A platoon led by Major J.S. Sandhu began its long climb towards Saltoro Ridge. At the same time, a Cheetah helicopter, piloted by squadron leader Baines, carried Captain Sanjay Kulkarni and his radio operator and winged its way towards Bilafondla, the most crucial pass. In the windswept conditions, the pilot could not land. The Hepta hovered as Captain Kulkarni and his operator jumped, first throwing a sack of atta to check if the snow was full. The first Indian troops had reached Siachen. Other sorties followed, and a platoon of 4 Kumaon slowly built up at Bilafondla. But within the first few hours, the radio operator fell prey to high altitude sickness and had to be evacuated. The weather packed, and for the next 3 days, a raging storm swept over that small platoon. Another soldier died of exposure, and Captain Kulkarni made a single radio transmission to inform his base about it. That transmission was picked up by the Pakistanis and they were alerted. A Pakistani helicopter flew overhead. The Indian presence was detected. Now they too began sending their troops up towards these heights. The race to Siachen had begun. After 3 days, the weather cleared, and another platoon under Major Bahuguna was sent to Siala, another vital pass. This platoon was dropped at the base and had to walk 5 kilometers in knee-deep snow just to get to the pass. In spite of immense hardships, they reached and occupied it. Other key heights of Saltoro Ridge were similarly secured. The approach to Siachen was now blocked for the Pakistanis. The Pakistanis had planned on occupying Siachen in May, but had been taken by surprise by the rapid Indian action which preempted them. They now launched the operation to evict the Indians, Operation Ababil. SSG commandos moved towards the heights, and at 4 in the morning on 23rd April, their first attack went. A burst of fire killed the Indian sentry at Bilafondla as the commandos attacked in deep snow towards the small force that was there. The platoon had been beefed up by ski troopers, but its strength was still meager. But they had the advantage of height, and when the commandos attacked, they were countered by heavy fire from above. Mortars and artillery also joined in. After 2 days of fighting, the attack was repulsed with 26 Pakistani commandos lying dead in the snow. Another attack followed just 4 days later, on 27th April. Then again, throughout May and June. But it was of no avail. By now, the Indian positions had been reinforced, and the Pakistani attacks, though courageous, were simply beaten back. Unable to push back the Indians, the Pakistanis began occupying posts as well. But the Indians already held the passes and the major heights on the Saltoro Ridge. And for all its claims, Pakistan had no access to that 80-kilometer long Siachen glacier. Their failure stung, and Benazir Bhutto called the army as only fit to fight its own people. She also sent a gift of bangles and a burqa to the army chief. Pakistan launched repeated offensives in the years that followed, with major ones in 1987, 89 and 92, each of which was repulsed with heavy casualties. Then, in 1999, General Parvez Musharraf launched the Kargil War. hoping to cut off the supply line to Siachen and force the Indians to vacate it. He had been a commander in Siachen himself, and the failure he experienced there must have rankled. The Kargil operation failed equally disastrously, and Siachen remained secure in our hands. The guns are silent there since the ceasefire of June 2003, but the weather still takes a terrible toll. Both sides still have around 3,000 men in 150 odd posts up there. Is it worth expending so much blood and treasure for those barren heights? There have been calls for a mutual withdrawal from Siachen. But what mutual withdrawal? India holds the entire glacier, and the nearest Pakistani presence is nowhere near it. If we vacate the positions, the Pakistanis will simply move in, and then regaining those heights will be well nigh impossible. So, till a permanent solution is found, the Indian soldier will continue to hold vigil there, standing steadfast in the face of hardships that would have broken any other. As the Siachen War Memorial says, quartered in snow, silent to remain. When the bugle calls, they will rise and march again.